How we doing there, folks, and welcome back on board the Galactic Federation Druid ship. This is Earth 1, and that is the wonderful Bluestar behind me, glowing in space, revolving around that wonderful nuclear furnace, the sun. On this transmission, it is the 8th day of May 2008, the Earth date, the Gregorian calendar. We're cutting down to the Global Rescue Master Command desk to join Danny and myself as we explore some of the learnings that we can attire in the areas of first aid and emergency management. It's very important at this time on the planet Earth that we come to grips with understanding the extreme climatic variation and how we can remain calm and deal with these circumstances as they come. So without further ado, let's cross down to Earth Sanctuary and check out the investigation on shock. Take it away, boys. Welcome to Global Rescue. Our goal is to help you prepare and respond to emergencies. As people all over the world are faced with extreme weather and social unrest, the time now is to be ready for action. This is Global Rescue. Alrighty, Danny. Here we are. This is Global Rescue once again. Emergencies, dealing with the challenging moments in life.
It's a very serious subject. Very
serious. In fact, it gets a little bit too serious sometimes, and we often say relax. It's a lot more serious than you think. On this transmission with Global Rescue, we know we look at emergencies, preparation, response. We're looking at first aid and shock, dealing with shock. And when I think of shock, I think of perfusion in the body. Perfusion. What's perfusion, Danny?
Perfusion is a very necessary system to keep the body alive, particularly oxygenation of the tissues around the body. It is that beautiful, beautiful muscle pumping blood, being the heart, around the body in the systemic circular system. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good, right, Danny.
And obviously perfusion of the muscles and the organs around your body is integral for your system to obviously to continue to work.
That's pretty damn good, Danny. It's an interruption. It's an interruption to the supply of blood to the tissues, and when that happens, we go into shock. There's lots of different levels of shock and types of shock. We're not going to go into all that nitty-gritty on this transmission, but we're going to talk about the understanding of what it is and how it can, in some incidents, spiral to something a little more serious. And often when we treat any patient for anything, we have to incorporate the understanding of shock. Just as we've on previous and coming episodes, we look at perception, how a human being deals with the insult to injury in their body often can result in shock itself. And we all deal with pain differently, and some people get a paper cut, and that is good as falling off Niagara Falls. Other people are a little bit more tolerant, and how our perception deals with this insult, this injury, and can often result in what we call shock. It's the old brown stains and the underpants thing, Danny.
Oh, it certainly can be for some people, and that white, paler look comes over the patient, and what essentially is occurring is a fluid shift has occurred in the body. And there's many types of shock. There's different shocks for neurological shock. There's a cardiogenic shock, there's septic shock. It can happen for a variety of reasons, but essentially a fluid shift has occurred in the body, which is going to alter that perfusion that Tommy was just talking about. Your body tries incredibly hard to compensate, and there are compensatory mechanisms which take place, and we try and get there as quickly as possible while your body is compensating, because after this period we go into irreversible shock, and by that stage it's probably a little bit too late for us.
Bit rough. Go and kick back for a couple of days.
It's fourth dimension after that period.
That's right, Danny. Compensation, body compensates, heart rate increases, blood pressure drops. This is not important sometimes if you don't have the tools to measure this, but we have to, in the most basic levels of first aid, get used to understanding these basic symptoms that people present with when it comes to shock. And often we need to, apart from the psychological, giving them reassurance, there's some basic things we're going to look at on this transmission to help combat the downward spiral of shock, so that you can bounce back into life quicker than a baked bean factory.
Did we mention reassurance?
Reassurance?
Reassurance is the one golden rule about any of these subjects. Reassurance and confidence. Remind yourself that a patient's ability to get out of the problem and the challenges that they're facing goes a long way with a little bit of support.
Okay team, so what can we learn about shock? Shock can be a serious life-threatening medical condition where insufficient blood flow reaches the body tissues. As the blood carries oxygen and nutrients around the body, reduced flow hinders the delivery of these components to the tissues and can stop the tissues from functioning properly. The process of blood entering the tissues is called perfusion. The most common symptoms of shock include an extremely low blood pressure, fast but weak pulse, dizziness, faintness or lightheadedness, feeling weak or nauseous, moist clammy skin, profuse sweating, unconsciousness, rapid shallow breathing, feeling anxious, agitated or confused, chest pain or blue lips and fingernails. When treating for shock, have the person sit down, sometimes place their head between their knees. As blood flows to the brain, the body's normal functions will usually resume. Sometimes have the person lie down. Do your best to comfort, quiet and soothe the person. Keep them comfortable and keep the body temperature normal. Choose the best position for the person according to the nature of the injury. A standard position for giving care for people with shock: feet up, injury elevated. If the person has a head wound or is having trouble breathing, elevate the head and the shoulders. A person who is bleeding from the mouth, vomiting, should lie on one side so fluid will drain away from the mouth. When someone goes into shock, treatment is needed immediately. Call a doctor or emergency services for medical help. Check the person's rate of breathing and circulation every 5 minutes. Lay the person flat on the back and raise the legs about 25 centimeters to help restore the blood pressure. Loosen tight clothing and keep the person warm and comfortable. When treating for shock, always appreciate that the comfort of the patient is paramount. Always summons help and go baby go. Shock to the heart and you're too late. Baby, you give love a bad name. This transmission is about shock.
Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the fluid shift.
Fantastic. That was wonderful, gentlemen, and it's nice to explore such an important area such as shock. The human body is very sensitive, and we need to gain a greater understanding of the management of such an important area. Let's look at some climate change news from around the planet on this day. It's been a bit of a cracker, first of which was a 6.8 magnitude earthquake occurring over in eastern Japan. It also hit parts of Tokyo, and we're getting information as we speak back on the damage that's caused. Further news looks at a volcanic eruption spewing ash 20 miles high into the sky. In this occasion, it's in Chile, in South America. And further news looks at the Ravaged cyclone, the smacking that Burma got last Saturday. And the death count, the fatalities, is rising by the day. At this point in time, it's over 50,000 people have lost their lives, and over 2 to 3 million people have been displaced. And we'll continually investigate as a part of the Bluestar campaign how we can manage this continuing displacement of people on the planet Earth. Finally, we look at a 4.5 quake which has occurred again in Oregon, who had earthquake swarms just days ago, and America has got some serious hotspots on the swarm activity front. Seismic unrest is what's going on as fluid shift prevails around the planet. Guys, we're going to get out of your way for this transmission. It's about global rescue on Thursdays. Later on tomorrow, it's a funny Friday, Holy Joe's Friday. We're going to try and liven up the environment with a bit of comedy, a bit of comic relief, and MILK are going to have a bit of a jam session as well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. We'll see you on the next transmission. Keep smiling, and get onto millicom.com to find out more on how you can take effect, become an agent of change on this wonderful planet. Anyway, guys, take care. See you soon. Welcome to the only planet of choice, the blue star of the galaxy, the most beautiful, the most extravagant, the only place where all the superstars can play. Wow, it's the Galactic Federation, man. Be cool to your brothers and sisters now.